We are always seeking external validation from society, friends, family, like what they think we should be doing or it's the right thing. And a common phrase I hear is, "Oh, my friends and family tell me I should." I mean, I still say it. I still say I should, I could, but I'm very conscious about it. I'm very aware. I correct myself immediately. And that's what I teach my clients as well, to get rid of the shoulda, woulda, coulda, because you're always living in shoulda land. I should have done that. Oh, I could have done that. What do I really want to do? Like, if I didn't care about what society thinks, if I didn't care about if I succeed or fail, the thing is, there's no right or wrong answer here. And that's the beauty of life. We all lead different lives, and it's okay. It's your life. You get to choose how you want to live your life.
So today's guest is a global business strategist and a certified coach, a certified life coach, helping high achieving women. So that's most of my listeners here, except for the guys, in life transitions feel and get unstuck and kiss overwhelmed goodbye. She cultivates rock star confidence and helps people reach clarity so that they can attain their dreams. I don't know anyone, man, woman, or child alike, that can't use this information that Lucy shares with her audience. And she's an international bestseller of 2 books. We'll talk more about them later. And for now, without any further ado, let me introduce you to our guest today, Lucy Liu. Lucy, welcome. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, Dr. Patty. And I just had the honor of having you on my podcast, and I'm so excited to be here.
Great. See, women are helping women all the time, and we had so much fun. So you'll have to check that out as well. Okay, so Lucy, tell me, what is an experience that you've had that very much shapes the woman, the professional, the person that you are today, that people cannot Google and find out about you? Not in any of your books. You don't write about it. And for the most part, you don't talk about it.
I love this question because I know so many speakers and amazing women. They have amazing stories that really just change the trajectory of their life, change the complete path of their life. And of course, I had made bold moves in my life that you mentioned that I talked about in my book, or truly, truly believe that what really shapes me and made me who I am to the little on life's path. It's these little baby steps I took. Each step moved me a little bit forward to get to closer to who I wanted to be. And imagine once upon a time, I was Lucy version 1.0.
Mhm.
And I had this dream of being Lucy, 2.0, and eventually upgrade to Lucy Liu 10.0. And it wasn't this exact linear path. It wasn't a secret sauce. It wasn't just one, magical wand that really turned it all around. It wasn't, I truly believe it wasn't just one story. It was the daily habits, the daily decisions that I made, the daily little gratitudes, everything just added up to eventually the higher version, the upgraded version of Lucy Liu, I would say.
Okay, so I totally agree with that. I get that. But for most people, there is usually some type of event that really became a driving force in influencing who they are and their success. Not that you're right. It's the incremental, it's the day to day, and if I may, sometimes it's two steps forward, one step back, right? It's not always inching forward. But for most people, there's some event that happened that they experienced or that they witnessed that has really influenced them. And that's what I'm really looking for.
I would have to say two. One is one is um I was living the good life. Everything seemed shiny and bright on the outside, from a society views, from maybe the views of my friends.
Well,
I would
excuse me,
have
tell us what the good life looked like. Like, were you a career? Like, what did you mean by that? Big house,
career
fancy car?
wise,
Like, what?
yeah. Well, maybe a lot of that. Yeah. I was pretty much an early bird. I actually dropped myself out of high school with straight A's, right? You usually think of students who are not doing well to drop out of school, but I was the opposite. I had straight A's, I had a perfect GPA, and I still felt behind. I wanted to advance in life. I wanted to be, having, like you said, the materialistic possessions. I wanted to be successful by society terms. I wanted to be ahead of others, right? I was the ambitious Lucy. I was falling behind, constantly feeling I was chasing the shiny object ahead of me. And so I had to get to work early. I dropped myself out of high school, went to a
What grade
local
were you in?
community
What grade were you in?
college. I was a sophomore. So I took what we have in California, the proficiency test. It's a
Mm-hmm.
tiny little piece of paper that gets you only to a local college. So that's what I did. And I disciplined myself my way through a community college. I transferred myself to UCLA and I interned at the most prestigious office. I was in finance. I majored in economics. And at the time, I interned at a very prestigious office in our local finance company. It was very well known. My manager, they were managing funds for athletes, celebrities in LA. And I know I would really do well in life financially. But one, I was not happy. I was not happy inside. I did not feel aligned. Like it just, I was numb and I was really still feeling behind. So only later on in life, I learned that enough is a decision, not an amount. But at the time, I didn't know that.
So you okay,
And
that's pretty profound. Enough is a decision, not an amount. Mm-hmm.
yeah, because if we're chasing the shiny objects, it's never enough.
Mm-hmm.
And us women, I know maybe probably some men, but we always feel it's not enough, right? I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough resources. I don't know enough people. These are just things we all come along in life that we have probably set to ourselves at some point in our life, right? It's always about the enoughness. And I feel like if I didn't go through my personal development, I would never have enough of anything in my entire life. It would never
Mm-hmm.
be enough because there's always more to do, always more money to be made, always, more problems to be solved. And I basically turned my entire life around. I gave up my entire career in finance
Now, how many years
and
did you work in finance? How many years were you there?
none. I just interned and I just basically,
Oh,
I did not even go into finance at all. And I feel like I started hearing stories of people telling how they've worked, 10 years in corporate, how they hated it. And, I've known lawyers that changed careers. I've known probably so many women that pivot in life. And it's funny, after I became a coach, I started seeing this pattern as well of people pivoting careers. Many of my clients, they come to me for one thing. like to grow their business, to, have more confidence in their current career, professional life. And then maybe one or two sessions in that they decide to pivot because all along, maybe for the past even 10, 20 years, they've been hating it and they just never had the courage to really make any changes in life. And we always talk about how, this new year we're going to change our life and this year is going to be different. Oh, this is the year 2024 is going to be amazing, but nothing actually changes if nothing changes.
Right.
If we don't
We don't do
ever
anything
change.
differently. Yeah. We don't do
Exactly.
anything
You're going
differently. Yeah.
we don't do anything differently. How can you expect at the end of the year on December 31st, we're like, hey, I made it this year. I really made this year so wonderful, right? Not going to happen if we don't change. So
So what are the people, what are your clients learning from you after just one or two calls where they realize, oh, it's not my job that's the problem as much as I'm a fish out of water.
yeah, I don't really tell them anything because it's their life. But for me, it's really, they see how I live my life is in alignment with exactly what
Yeah,
I
excuse me,
want.
I didn't mean to say what you tell them. What I meant to say is, what do they learn working with you those first two calls? Because that's
I
pretty
think,
profound for people to like. It's scary and it's freedom all at the same time.
yeah, it is. I think what most importantly is me telling them that they can live, they have the permission to live their life according to what they truly want. And
Mhm.
that's what I want. I want everyone to live an epic life, not just a life, right? And for so many of us, if we just go along in life, that's living life on autopilot or
Mhm.
according to someone else's wish or what society thinks we should do. But
You know,
I really
there was a
want
movie
people.
years ago. Excuse me, there was a movie years ago where I think it was Richard Gere, and he's sitting on a train, and he's coming from, I believe it was New York City, to the suburbs. And the line, the voiceover said something like, "Most men lead lives of quiet desperation," and I think that's true for men and women. To your point.
Yeah, yeah, I have that image in my mind right now, and it's true.
Mhm.
We are always seeking external validation from society, friends, family, like what they think we should be doing or it's the right thing. And a common phrase I hear is, "Oh, my friends and family tell me I should XYZ." And I think, wait a minute, no, there's, I mean, I still say it. I still say I should, I could, but I'm very conscious about it. I'm very aware. I correct myself immediately. And that's what I teach my clients as well, is to get rid of the shoulda, woulda, coulda, because you're always living in shoulda land. I should have done that. Oh, I could have done that. Right. And that's kind of sucks. No, I don't want to shoulda myself. I just want to
Mhm.
do it. What do I really want to do? Like if I didn't care about what society thinks, if I didn't care about if I succeed or fail, or if I didn't care about what my friends would say, what do I want? Like how do I want to live my life? What do I want to be doing? And who do I want to spend my time with? And there's the thing is there's no right or wrong answer here. And that's the beauty of life. We all
Mhm.
lead different lives and it's okay. It's your life. You get to
Mhm.
choose how you want to live your life. And there's no wrong answer. Isn't that exciting?
It's exciting, but I can see how it's also confusing to people. So I want to go back to what you just said. So when your clients tell you, my parents want me to, my family wants me to, I would imagine your next question is, so I have two questions. I imagine the next question is, but what do you want? And I can hear the deafening silence and the work involved with that. And then secondly, I want to know, my sense is the most difficult, and certainly in the Asian culture, I would think, is Um, and it's not just so many other cultures. The it's the what their parent, what the family thinks you should do. So how do you address those two huge challenges?
Oh, yeah. I can imagine your challenges. And I've personally gone through those challenges myself, right? Definitely when I dropped out, my parents were shocked. But I think you are the communication expert. And I think communication is really, really important. I had to explain to them why as to I made the decision. And I gave them a plan as to what I had planned. And I would give them a timeline as well. Here's my goal. Let's not say negative things about me for the next 4 years, for say, while I'm, in college, while I sort this out. Um, so that,
You said that to your parents,
yeah, I
and
honestly
did they
had,
adhere to that? 4 years is a long time to not say a negative thing about your child when you think they're doing everything right.
yeah, I'm very grateful for them understanding. I'm sure they said a lot of negative things to their friends, right? They can complain. That's what I tell them. And that's the same with my husband. If he complains about me, I'm like, no, don't complain to me. Complain to other people. And that's fine because that's not going to change me. Right. So
Right.
there's a lot of communication involved in everything. And that's the first time. Second time, after I didn't go into finance, we actually worked for a family business for my husband's business, family business as well. So the same thing happened when we left the family business about 10 years after.
And I do a lot of work with family businesses. You have the business stress, you have the family dynamic stress. It's hard.
Right. Yeah, it's hard. It becomes a 24-hour work, right? We're talking about business at every dinner table and even into the wee hours of the night. So,
Right, right.
um, So definitely I have personally experienced that myself. So parents is I would say a big influence in our life. But
Mhm.
even just from my husband, when I first became a coach, he was not supportive. He was not supportive, but
Why?
instead of um because he didn't we even I did not know of coaching as a career as I grew up. I think when I first became a coach, I talked to many of my friends and were like, coaches are for celebrities, right? Um, I think only in recent years, normal people are open to having the luxury of having a coach. And I feel like you have to actually think you are worthy to invest in yourself. And I think that wasn't the case for a lot of people. People think only executives, billionaires, and super highly successful people worked with coaches.
Mm.
So that was for me. And I had to show him my own personal development instead of arguing with him what I should be doing. We actually did not argue. I just told him, watch my own transformation because I took my own personal development more serious than anything.
Mhm, mhm. So, what do you come across people not understanding the difference between coaching and therapy?
Oh, absolutely. And I
So,
think
how do you? Mm.
I usually tell, I actually did a whole podcast episode on this myself.
Oh, okay.
So I recommend people, for anyone who's never really in touch with this subject to really just make it simple and think of therapy as to work on the blocks from the past,
Hmm.
like childhood, things that you are still holding on to. And I think coaching, we are focused more on the present and the future.
That's exactly what I tell people. I tell therapy is focused on the past and coaching is focused on, what can you do differently? What will you do differently? All of that kind of stuff. So how did you pick coaching? Like what led you down from finance to coaching?
So like I said, we did work on a family business. We had our own business. I've just been in business all my life. And I think
Mhm.
even though um, we're doing okay in life, I never felt truly fulfilled. I never felt truly excited. Like, when you get a payment notification, I don't get excited about that. So one of the bloggers I followed at the time, she was a lawyer and she transitioned into a coach. And I was like, wow, there's a career in coaching. I did not
Can
know
I
that.
ask you who it was?
Natalie
Someone I would
Bacon.
know?
Her name was
Okay.
Natalie Bacon.
Sorry.
No.
Okay.
Um, and it really just opened my world in an entire world. And that is exactly why I tell people that you can do anything and make new goals at any age. I never, I never ever thought I would start a podcast, right? I never thought I can write a book. I never imagined connecting with remarkable women such as Dr. Patty Ann yourself. That was never in my dictionary. And I never had these goals as well earlier in life. But once I found out that these things are possible, of course, I had to dream different dreams and have fun along the way. And that is exactly why I think people are not realizing their dreams is because they're not having fun along the way. This is
Mm.
so fun for me. It fills my mind to have the possibility of providing value to another human being. That
Mhm.
lights me up. And I think this world needs more alive people to be
Oh
doing
gosh.
what lights them up.
Yeah. It actually makes me sad to think of the number of miserable people running around. You know, what do you say, Lucy? All right, I'm going to get so real here. What do you say to the single mom or to the two-parent couple or to the dad that has got to keep that job to pay those bills because they have children and they have responsibilities, right? And maybe they made all not the best choices along the way that would have given them more freedom and more happiness in their work. But here we are, two kids, a family, bills, all of, money makes the world go round, right? We can underestimate it all we want, but I don't think you can underestimate it. Um, and the only people that say money doesn't make you happy are the people that have a lot of it to an extent, to an extent. Um, so what do you say to that person that's in that miserable job that it's really just to pay the bills?
Yeah, I totally get it. I've been there myself.
Mhm.
I didn't grow up in a wealthy family. My parents are immigrants. And growing up in an immigrant family who started with very little means, I know exactly where that situation is.
Where were your
I,
parents from, Lucy? I'm
they're
just
from
curious.
China. They were from China.
China. Okay.
So we
Okay.
immigrated when I was in elementary school. So we start,
You
my
really
parents,
remember that. You
yeah, I
remember that.
do. I do. And my parents,
Yeah.
they came here with, one suitcase and that was it. Either they
Mm.
make it or they don't. So we started with very humble beginnings. So I know exactly how that is. But I just have to say that if you are in that situation, just know that it's temporary. And you've
Mhm.
got to believe that it's temporary because
Mhm.
being broke is temporary, but being poor is by choice. So there's a
What
difference.
do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Meaning if you think that's your life, that you're going to be poor, right? That's
The
your
mindset.
choice. Yeah, that's the mindset. It
Yeah.
unfortunately that will probably stay the same.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think you're just, broke temporarily, you can work for it. You can change it. If you believe you can, then you can. Then it will only be temporary. I've interviewed, I believe, two women. One, she was single. She was in a homeless shelter with her newborn baby. And she was able to get out of the shelter and she made six figures just by starting a blog on their public computer. I've had other guests on my podcast where they grew up in trailer parks, who grew up really poor, onto being on TV and making lots of money. So there's so many examples where, you come from a background where you're less than ideal. But if you have the right mindset and you believe you can get out, then you probably have the openness of mindset to look for opportunities and jump on anything. And I recall she talking about on my podcast, and what really stuck to my head is she said that when she listened to podcasts, she took every golden nugget like real gold because she couldn't afford to take courses. She couldn't afford at the time to hire coaches yet. So everything that she heard on different podcasts, she took it like it's real gold. She made it her life to really take in those information and those available resources to her, because we can't push information into people's mind. And I was just reading the TED Talk book, and that's why we have all these free available TED Talks, TEDx Talks that you can watch for free, right? These experts, but none of these experts can push any information into your brain until you're willing to open the door and pull the information inside of your brain and really implement it in your life so that you can help yourself get out of the rut and eventually
Yeah,
have the means.
it reminds me of the expression, when the student is ready, the teacher will arrive.
Yes, yes. And in today's information, back then you have to travel to different places to look for a mentor, to look for a guru. People travel to India to learn yoga, right?
Mm.
But today you have this available virtually. So think of how lucky we are to live in today's world where information is readily available. But you have to believe, even if you're in a dark tunnel, you have to believe that you just keep going, even when the road is, go with the bend, go with the darkness, but you have to believe there's light at the end of the tunnel instead of stopping yourself in the darkness forever.
This also reminds me of Man's Search for Meaning, when Viktor Frankl wrote the book about, my listeners have heard me talk about this, who survived the concentration camps, right? And it was the people that had a meaning, that had a reason, that didn't give up hope. Like, today sucks, tomorrow will be better. Tomorrow sucks, the next day will be better, right? It's not being naive, but it's never giving up hope, because hope gets us through the dark times, to your point. So I have a question for you. As you were speaking about access to so much free information, which is absolutely amazing. Like, I'm listening to Andrew Huberman's podcast now on neuroscience. I love neuroscience. I think I would have studied it if it was really a thing when I was younger, but I wasn't, or I didn't know about it. It's probably the more accurate statement. And I feel like I literally take, it's my notebook. I literally take notes listening to him, and I am not a note taker at all. because I never go back and listen to notes. This I will, because I'll use it for my speaking and my work with my clients. But I feel like I said to my husband, I feel like I am taking a course in neuroscience from this podcast. It is amazing to me, and I love to read the comments. Unfortunately, his run very long, and it's hard to find the time to go through it all. But it is absolutely incredible to me. So when I'm listening to a podcast, obviously that means I'm not taking the time to read a book or read a blog, right? And I feel like there's such a plethora of information out there. There's almost a sense of what am I missing? What am I not learning? So does that come up for you with your clients? There's so many ways to communicate. There are so many choices. It can actually be a detriment as opposed to an asset. And maybe that's just me, but if you're smart in this country, I will say this till I die. In this country, you're willing to work hard. You have half a brain. You can do and be whatever you want. So do you find that people are overwhelmed with choices?
Yes, that is to an extent very true. I understand. I remember the brain coach, Jim Quick. He said that
Yeah.
don't let your self-help books become shelf books, right? Like
Yeah.
self-help
Yeah.
books.
Self-help, not shelf. Yeah.
Right. Because you don't want to put your books just on the bookshelf and not really implement it. And that's why I said implement. We can take
Mm-hmm.
in the information, but which part of it are you implementing? Are you actually putting into your daily habits? What are you,
Mm-hmm.
what actions are you actually taking? Of course, we have to first believe it to be true. Then you have to set an action plan. And then really it's about taking the action towards what
Mm-hmm.
you really want. And um, if you have the means to have the budget to hire a coach or a consultant, someone to take you along the way, it's just going to expedite the process. So you're not stuck overthinking at the same point of the tunnel, right? If you have that coach, it's just someone else with the lights on. And you can keep
Mm-hmm.
on going in the tunnel to get you to the end faster. But that does not mean you can't do it yourself. It'll just be a longer process. And then you
Mm-hmm.
might not be having the motivation to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, like you said, if you're not there yet, if you're not financially ready to take that leap, there's still lots to learn out there if you really take action on it, not just learning, not just taking the information, but really using it.
Now, you said that when you said you wanted to become a coach, your husband was like, against it. You had the strength to be able to say, I'm going to do it anyway, or however that conversation went. I don't know if so many women or people have fill in the blank. What's the word? To, I don't want to say go against their partner, but to move forward in spite of their partner's naysay.
Mm, yeah. I guess that's what I'm all about. I call it the calm confidence. If you
Mm-hmm.
know me, I'm a speaker on confidence, but I'm very quiet person. I'm not your so-called, loud, extroverted person out there, like empowering women, right? We have these very extroverted empowerment coaches out there that are just very loud and I mean, they shine in their different way. But
Mm-hmm.
because I am all about calm confidence, of course, I had to stay calm and
Mm-hmm.
just go along with my plan because I feel that calm and composure makes a difference when you're making a point to someone else. Like, I don't
So
want
it's
to
interesting.
overreact.
It's interesting you say that because I will tell people if you're disagreeing with somebody and you come across like a lunatic, even if you're right, your message will be lost. Because it would be like, even if she was saying the right thing, still she shouldn't have said it that way, or so she was so upset, or and normally the message gets lost, right? Um, okay, so I might get in trouble here, but do you think culturally, being a woman, an Asian woman, that's more aligned with who you are as opposed to a New Yorker like myself?
No.
I
Yeah, I totally get it. And I find it, I've been on Zoom calls where I say, "Hey, I was like this because I'm an Asian woman." And then I get feedback from other, I have Black clients, I have Latina Black clients, and they're like, exactly, girl, same, same. And I've
yeah.
had clients, Greek, they're Greek. It doesn't matter. I think we, there might be a different word, there might be a different example, there might be a different phrase or how or a different story or different parable that we were taught when we were a child. But overall, I think many of the human emotions or just basically stories that we tell ourselves, the self-sabotaging, it comes down to be very much similar. And I think
Hmm.
it's just comes down to how we react to situations. And I think
Hmm.
we're all thrown at curveballs, no matter what, ethnicity, what background, what age, it does not matter where you come from or where you are at now. Life will throw us all curveballs, but it's about how we react, how we catch that ball. That will make our entire experience different and therefore our life different.
Nobody's life goes according to plan, that's for sure. All right, so tell us what does your next chapter look like?
What is my next chapter? Well, you're going to be the first person I'm telling this. Like I said, I just picked up the TED Talk book. So I'm going for a TED Talk. That's my goal for
Hmm.
this for now. And it's interesting. It's a new goal. So it's very fun. It's interesting. And you're the first person I'm putting out this out to.
Oh, congratulations. Thank you for sharing that with me. And you must let me know the date of your TED Talk because we know for sure when you go for something, you will attain it. I'm betting my money's on you. Okay, so I love this conversation there, and I do feel your calm confidence. I need to pick up more of that. But I do want to respect your time, so I have two more questions I want to ask, and then I would like you to unabashedly promote yourself. So imagine there's a huge box in front of you, huge, okay? And everything in your entire life that you've ever lost is in that box. What is the first thing you would reach for to take out and why?
I had this really funny imagery when you said huge box. I had this image of a container because you were like huge, huge. So in the beginning, I was thinking of a brown cardboard box, and then you were like huge. So I envisioned a container actually. But when you said lost, uh, I visualized opening the container to find it empty. And I feel like whatever I lost along the way was for a reason and it was for a good reason. And I don't need it back.
So the why is you lost something that you never wanted to have. Can we speculate what that might have been?
No, that's the funny part. It's coming up empty for me. I feel like,
I have thought. No, go ahead. You feel like what?
yeah, I feel like I have no regrets at this point, and I feel like everything I've lost in life was for the good of me, and I don't want to change a thing about who I am today. So I don't need to take
Yeah,
anything back.
and I didn't say anything about regret. I just said something you lost, like you'd reach for and why. I didn't say to hold on to it again. I just said something you lost and why. But I'll tell you what I'm feeling. What I'm feeling is what you lost is limitations. That's the word that just keeps coming to me.
That's beautiful.
Resonate at all?
Yeah.
Does it resonate for you? Okay. All right. Here's my last question, real last question. What's the one song that you can't live without?
Oh my goodness, that is hard. there there are so many songs that I really enjoy. Oh, I would have to pick Fight Song by Rachel Platten, and basically it's the lyrics that really draws me. It's a motivational song.
Do you have some of the lyrics there?
Some of the lyrics is like, "This is my fight song. Take back my life song. Prove I'm
My
right
life song.
song.
Yeah.
Yes, my
Yep.
powers
Yep.
turn on. Starting right now, I'll be strong. I'll play my fight song."
Okay. I got it. Yeah. 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 I love it. I love it. Okay. So unabashedly you could tell us about your book, your last book, both books, um, where people can go to purchase your book, where they can go to learn more about you, if they would like to work with you, like unabashedly just promote Lucy Liu.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. If you are listening to this episode on your favorite podcast platform, just hit the search button, search for my podcast. It's called The Lucy Liu Show. That's LucyLiu. I'm at lucyliucoaching.com. And I am everywhere, social platform, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, wherever you are active on. My handle is all the same. MSLucyliu, Miss Lucy Liu. Come say hello.
Okay, that's great. And tell them a little bit about your books.
Oh, yeah. So I did co author in two books during the pandemic. One is called Women Who Boss Up. It is a series, and I'm in the one called Asian Women Who Boss Up. And the other one is called Rising Sisterhood. And I just recently, last year, also released my solo book. It's called Confident and Epic 21 Decisions to Living Your Best Life. So, the best way is to just head on to Amazon and search for Confident and Epic. And that is the exact life I want you to live, confident and epic.
Awesome. And is there anything else any other pearls of wisdom you'd like to share with the audience that we didn't discuss today?
Well, thank you again for having me, Dr. Patty Ann, and for any beautiful soul watching or tuning in. I just want you to believe that more blessings are coming your way and believe that more blessings are ready to be showered to your life so that anything is possible because there will always be a way.
And I think we can conclude on that incredibly optimistic, positive note. And it's your life to live. Don't let anybody else tell you how to live it for you. And everybody loves to do that. So thank you so much, Lucy. This was so incredible. And I encourage everybody to learn more about Lucy by going to the places that she suggested and checking out her books. And that concludes today's episode of Dr. Patty Ann's podcast. Make sure you like, comment, share, and most importantly, subscribe to this podcast. And until next time, be well.